The day they came to kill her, the sky turned gray. The birds stopped singing and the village felt like it was holding its breath. An old woman with tired eyes and a heavy heart. Her name was Mama Essie. The air felt strange, cold like harmattan. But it wasn't harmattan season. Everyone in the village stopped what they were doing. Even the children stopped playing. We all gathered in silence and watched as glowing strangers walked into the village. They didn't speak. They didn't blink. And they weren't smiling. They came from Mama Essie. But let me take you back so you can understand how it all started. Once upon a time, in a small village, surrounded by dusty fields and tall trees, there lived a poor peasant woman who had many sons. All of her sons were strong, smart, and useful to the village. All except one. The wise fool. He was different. They called him a fool because he was quiet, simple, and always dreaming. He worked every day alone, tilling a patch of dry, sandy soil no one else cared for. The villagers laughed at him. Even his own family left him to fend for himself. But he never stopped working. One hot afternoon, the mother went to her garden and found something strange. Under a big tree lay a tiny baby with very long hair. It was crying and looked hungry and lost. The woman picked up the child, fed it, and held it close. No one came to claim the baby. Not that day, not the next. So she took the child home. She cut its long, tangled hair and raised it like her own. But this was no ordinary baby. A few days later, strange visitors arrived. Fairies, glowing and tall, with golden eyes. They had come to take back the baby. But when they saw the baby's hair had been cut, they became furious. "You have broken our magic," they cried. "If the baby's hair cannot be restored, then you must be taken instead." The village elders begged for mercy. They offered gifts, gold, animals, land, even servants. But the fairies refused. The woman had to die. Just as the meeting was about to end in tears, the so-called fool stepped forward. He said calmly, "If the fairies want to take my mother, that is fair. But they must first wipe away all their footprints from my sandy field." They walked across it when they came here. The fairies laughed. "Simple request," they said. "We accept." But the sandy soil was soft, and every step left a mark. For every print they erased, more would appear. A day passed, then 2, then a week, another week. The more they tried, the worse it got. Finally, the fairies gave up. They let the woman live. Even those called foolish may carry the greatest wisdom. Never underestimate anyone. The rain stopped. I knew something was wrong. Not just a delay in season. Not just dry wind. No. This was different. It was the kind of silence in the sky that makes animals restless. The kind of stillness that makes the elders frown and speak in low, worried tones. Years had passed since the fairies vanished, since Kojo saved Mama Essie. The village never forgot. And Kojo, he changed too. People listened more when he spoke, not because he shouted, but because he didn't. And somehow, that made his words heavier. He still farmed that same dry land. But now, the soil was a little softer. The wind gentler. His farm had become respected. Kojo got older. He married. He had one son. Life moved forward, as life always does. But then, something strange began to happen. The rain came later and later. The river that ran beside the village began to shrink. The leaves on the trees turned brown even before the dry season came. Some people said it was the gods. Some blamed the new chief. But the old ones, they whispered. They remembered. Asa. No one had seen Asa again, not after the fairies left. Some said she was never really a baby, but Kojo remembered her. Every year, he walked to that old baobab tree, sat in silence, and waited for what he never said. He looked up at the sky and said, "She'll come back when it matters." Then came the 25th year. That was the year. The land cracked, not a single yam grew. The animals left the forest, and people began to leave the village. Fights broke out over water. Families argued over buckets. It was a dry hunger. The kind that doesn't just shrink your belly, it eats your hope. The elders tried sacrifices. They poured palm wine on the earth. They killed a white goat. Nothing worked. The nights grew longer. The children stopped laughing. Then, one night, as we all lay restless in our rooms, a breeze returned. Not cold, not warm, just soft. And it carried a song, a soft lullaby. None of us remembered teaching our children, But that night, every child hummed it in their sleep. The next morning, we saw him, a stranger, standing at the same spot where the baby was found. He wore simple clothes, but his skin had a glow. His hair was short now, but his eyes, they were deep, like a well that had seen too much. He walked into the center of the village and spoke with a voice that felt like memory. My name is Asa. Nobody moved, except Kojo. He stood, walked slowly, stared at the boy, and smiled. You came back. Some people gasped, some cried, but no one doubted who he was. He was the child Mama Essie raised, the one with the long black hair. Only now he had returned as a man. Asa stayed in the village for 3 days. He didn't ask for food. He didn't ask for shelter. He walked around, spoke to the trees, touched the soil, sat with the old women under the mango tree, and listened. Then he called everyone to the old baobab tree. No drums, no fire, just silence. He raised his hand, and the wind began to spin. Leaves swirled, dust lifted, and in the sky, clouds gathered. The first drop of rain fell on my head. Then another, then many. We screamed, we danced, we cried. Children played in the mud. Elders opened their mouths to the sky. It rained for 3 days. When it stopped, Asa said, the land was not sick. The people were. You forgot the power of kindness. Then he looked at Kojo. And you never forgot. That night, they sat by the fire, just the two of them, talking in quiet voices. Kojo asked, "Where did you go?" Asa smiled. "I went where people listen. The trees, the wind, the ones who remember." The next morning, Asa was gone. Some say he walked into the forest. Some say he flew. Some say he melted into the rain. But the crops grew again. The trees turned green. And Kojo, he smiled more, but still stayed quiet. It's funny how we see wisdom. Some shout their knowledge, Others wear it like a crown, but some just sit in the dirt and dig and wait. Kojo was never the strongest, never the fastest, but he was the only one who remembered. And because of him, the village remembered too. That is why, even now, we tell this story, not to laugh at fools, but to remind ourselves that sometimes the wisest ones are the quietest ones, the ones who listen, the ones who wait, the ones like Kojo.